Hi my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. Today we're going to be talking about the future of the Mandalorian, and also why Nicolas Cage says he doesn't want to join Star Wars. So no more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into this. So we begin with the Mandalorian. Huge spoiler warning, we've got some massive leaks courtesy of MakingStarWars.net. Now, as we covered in the past, the Mandalorian is leading to the Sequel Trilogy, giving it context, showing us the fall of the New Republic, as well as the start of the First Order. Well, now Making Star Wars have confirmed the appearance of Praetorian Guards from The Last Jedi, early versions of them which look much more like Mandalorians. Now they say before we jump the gun and assume Snoke is in it, he might not be. We don't know for sure, my prediction is that he is, but these Praetorian Guards work for Moff Gideon, so he's the precursor to Snoke, because his faction of the Imperial Remnant is the one that succeeds and becomes the First Order. In their article they say, imagine Moff Gideon in black armor with a black Mandalorian helmet. He's surrounded by 5 Praetorian Guards. And here we have an exclusive first design of this version of the Praetorian Guards. They too have Mandalorian style helmets. So what about Snoke? Well, we don't know for certain if he's going to appear. There is a little bit of evidence, because in their report they say that Andy Serkis did mocap work while filming for Andor. But given he was playing a human Kino Loy, this work could have been for the Mandalorian. And if you guys remember, there were some crazy wild rumours that Snoke does appear in this show. He is alive and around, but the biggest takeaway, Praetorian Guards are in the Mandalorian Season 3. Making Star Wars also outlined some problems behind the scenes, very similar to Skeleton Crew. Everyone was overworked, there were management issues, but it shouldn't affect the final product. It's just a shame a lot of these workers are treated so badly. And they do say there were tons of reshoots. And now, another update for the Mandalorian universe. So the other day we had the big rumour that the next Mandalorian spin-off is codenamed Ghost Track 17. It is said to be going into production soon, and it's going to be the next show following the current slate of Mandalorian related projects, but there is very little information on what it might be about. Well, thanks to Bespin Bulletin and a couple of others who pointed this out, there might be a clue in the name itself. The codename Ghost Track 17 might be a reference to the Beatles' Ghost Track on their famous Abbey Road album, which is track 17, the hidden song which is titled Her Majesty. Well, the big question is, who in the Mandalorian universe will hold this title following Season 3? Well, according to the Making Star Wars leaks, it's Bo-Katan. She's rumoured to be the one who's going to rule Mandalore by the end of the season. She's going to regain the Darksaber which she lost to Moff Gideon, which is currently in the hands of Djarin, and she's also going to have Mythosaur armor. But this codename Ghost Track 17 could therefore be a reference to Bo-Katan. She has royal lineage, she might not be the Queen of Mandalore, but the title is fitting. Her Majesty could refer to Bo. And if you guys think back a year or so, there were rumours of a Bo-Katan series in the works, which was rumoured to be the continuation of Mando when Season 4 is over. So could Ghost Track 17 be the Bo-Katan show, and if so, would fans really be interested in such a series? Fans of the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, absolutely. She's a fascinating character, but is her character strong enough to stand alone as the lead in her own show? Well, it all depends on what Dave Filoni intends to do with her. Is it going to incorporate and include the current cast? Will there still be Mando and Grogu, or are they going to be off doing something different while the series focuses on a restored Mandalore? And if the latter is true, they can finally tell us what happened to Corky Kryze. A big theory out there is that he's the son of Satine and Obi-Wan, but did he survive into the Mandoverse era? There's a hint in Season 2, the answer is no. Bo-Katan says she's the last of her line, the last remaining Kryze, so did Corky die? Maybe we'll find out. But going back to the main subject of this spin-off, all of our questions depend on the direction of Season 3 and the overriding plot, what takes place and what goes on. And if the title is not a reference to the Beatles and we're overthinking it, then maybe the show serves as a sequel to Ahsoka, giving us the adventures of the surviving Ghost Crew. And there was also speculation of an Ezra and Thrawn show, one that gives us more of the Chiss ascendancy, and also his endgame in the New Beyond and the Unknown Regions. At this stage, it's all a question mark, but the Bo-Katan series is definitely on the table as a strong possibility, just based on the name alone. Share your thoughts on this in the comments down below. And so now guys, Nicolas Cage has revealed why he's against joining the Star Wars universe. Now just to say, I don't really mind if he joins or not. Just like Christopher Lloyd, who is in The Mandalorian, I can see Nicolas Cage at this stage of his life playing a fun character. But as you're gonna see, he is against it. I really enjoy films with Nicolas Cage in them. I first discovered him in Vampire's Kiss. I thought he was so wacky, has a crazy personality, and the great thing is, he's often like that in his other roles too, but he is quite versatile at the same time. Well, now he's talked about why he doesn't want to join Star Wars. When asked about Pedro Pascal recruiting him for Star Wars and whether he'd be interested, Nicolas Cage said no is the answer. I'm a Trekkie man. Ooh, guys. He's a Star Trek fan, and by the sounds of it, he's one of those Star Trek fans who's not that interested in Star Wars. Now, I've got no issue with Star Trek, but I've never really been that interested. I did see a bit of the original series, a bit of The Next Generation, and also Prodigy, but generally speaking, it's not my cup of tea. While Nicolas Cage, on the other hand, is much more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan, saying that's how I roll. But at least Nicolas Cage acknowledges that Star Wars did something very important, but he believes that sci-fi in Star Trek really embraced those tropes further. Here is the quote: "I like the political, the sociological. To me, what science fiction is really all about and why it's such an important genre is that it's really where you can say whatever you want, however you feel. You put it on a different planet, you put it in a different time or in the future, and you can without people just jumping on you. You can really express your thoughts like Orwell in the science fiction format, and Star Trek really embraced that. I thought they got into some serious stuff." And then he says, "I am not in the Star Wars family, I'm in the Star Trek family." So Nicolas Cage has chosen to live long and prosper instead of wishing us may the force be with you. And I don't know about you guys, but while politics and sociological issues are Star Trek's forte, with some very profound messages and allegories, I feel like he would enjoy the prequel trilogy for the same reasons, more specifically The Phantom Menace. But I get it, it's not the same. Star Trek is a very different flavour. They are not even comparable. I would say there are more similarities between Star Trek and Doctor Who. But the lowdown is this: Nicolas Cage is holding very firm on the fact he doesn't want to join Star Wars. And even though the rivalry between the two franchises is nothing new, it's interesting to hear a current actor pick a side and be this anti-Star Wars, shunning the entire Star Wars fandom and family. So unless he's trying to throw us off, do not expect Nicolas Cage in a Star Wars project anytime soon. And speaking of actors in the Star Wars universe, Pedro Pascal compared The Last of Us' Joel to Din Djarin from The Mandalorian. And he's not wrong, both characters do have a lot in common. In his own words, he said, "Both Din and Joel are deeply wounded characters who've experienced great loss and are slowly beginning to open up once they connect with a child they've been tasked with protecting." He said both capture a stoicism and harshness that hides deep pain, and we know that Din Djarin especially has been through so much, and as a Mandalorian, he's gonna flourish in season 3, realizing he doesn't need to be part of the tribe to be a true Mando, reconnecting with Bo, even though at first they have animosity, and meeting other Mandos are going to inform Din Djarin's journey. And Jon Favreau teased at Star Wars Celebration, this path is going to be very challenging, there are going to be difficulties along the way, personal struggles, identity struggles, but ultimately Din comes out a better person, a stronger character on the other side. Share your thoughts on everything we spoke about in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. May the Force be with you always.